If you are a man and you are getting older, well then I've got some really good news for you.
Nice.
And some really bad news for you. But the really bad news is only in one case.
Oh, I think it's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
I came across this article called 34 Handsome Guys Who Redefine Your Concept of Older Men. And I also found the exact same guys, but just 24 of these 34 guys that were on YouTube video here that said it was like the top 20 men's health and fitness ranking of old men over the age of 50. And it was all these same guys. The article said some handsome men are like wine. They get better with age. Cool, well that's awesome. Steve is someone over 50, you're married.
Yeah, boy.
I think you would agree, just like me, and I'm now getting much closer to that too. It doesn't really seem like, as a guy, there's like much problem with getting older as long as you maintain certain physical sort of features as far as like attractiveness or attention from women. Would you agree with that?
I would totally agree with that.
I would say the older that I've gotten, after the age of about 32 is when I feel like I noticed a big difference. After 32, ever since then, every year I seem to get more attractive to younger girls. It's very strange, but I don't know. I don't get it. I wasn't expecting this to happen. Let's go ahead and go through these guys. Here's the good news. If you're getting older, you have a lot to look forward to. Number 1, Anthony Varechia. Great head of hair, great physique. Number 2, Eric Rutherford. What are we seeing again? Great head of hair, like even better. Great physique, handsome. There's really only 3 things that I think can age a guy, really, in like a negative way. One would be if he's going bald. Second thing, is he out of shape or in shape physically? And then third thing was really wrinkles. And I would say that if you've taken care of those 3 things, there's really not much else physically to make a guy look bad.
I would say the hair is number 1, obviously. I'm going to say that. Okay. And I think the hair does away with the wrinkles. I mean, you can have some wrinkles that would be kind of like described as distinguished.
I guess I more meant as like a sign of aging. Yeah, you're right. The wrinkles can be a distinguished thing, but those are really the only 3 major signs of aging.
And I think that if you age gracefully, we're going to say you're going to look better or really good as you get older compared to your peers. I have a pet peeve with the pouch, you know, the belly pouch. That is challenging. I mean, I'll tell you what, like I've been into the fitness thing my whole life, and it does get harder as you get older and as you surpass that 50 point. It absolutely can be managed, but when I see guys that are up there and they start to get that really big pouch, it's like, man, I'd rather have the wrinkles and crow's feet or whatever that is than that little pumpkin belly, you know, that's like bad.
So number 3 for the guys have all been fit and had a great head of hair. Number 4, fit, great head of hair. Yeah. Number 5, fit, great head of hair and a great beard. Number 6, fit, great head of hair and a great beard. Number 7, Wang Deshun. He's 80 years old. I mean, for an 80-year-old, he's pretty fit too. I mean, absolutely. Yeah, I would say, I mean, he looks better than most like 30-year-old men, really fit-wise. And then I wouldn't say that he has a great head of hair, but he's 80 years old. 80% of all men by age 80, so 8 out of 10, will have experienced male pattern baldness. I mean, he's got a lot of hair. It's just that he's got a quite receded hairline. Not bad for an 80-year-old.
He does have a good look. He's kind of rocking it, you know, where you can make an excuse for it that his hairline's receded, but he's got cool hair for 80.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
he's so far the oldest guy on this list. Okay, so anyway, instead of going through the whole list of 34 people, because they all kind of start to look about the same, I'm just going to tell you the quick answer, which is that out of all of these people, the only one that showed any kind of real receded hairline was the 80-year-old guy. That was it. I mean, that's kind of nuts. Basically, all the good-looking guys, according to this article, all have great heads of hair. Other than being fit, it's the only other marker of like attractiveness that's consistent within all of these guys. I think we could pretty much say that hot old men are not bald old men.
Which leads to everything we've always talked about, David. The hairline frames the face. I mean, these guys happen to be super attractive guys, but it doesn't come out as much as when you're losing your hair and going bald. So there's very few guys that can kind of rock that or carry that. You know, I'm not a big fan of that myself. Obviously, I prefer having hair and guys having hair.
I would say the one exception to that is darker skinned guys. Darker skinned guys seem to be able to pull off the bald look for some reason. The Rock is really the only like hugely popular actor, movie star these days that's totally bald. You could say Vin Diesel as well, but I don't know. He is a popular actor, but he's definitely not anywhere close to like on the same level as The Rock.
The Rock's kind of a cartoon character, you know? I mean, he's just so everything. You know, he's the Rock.
Yeah.
And it kind of like the shaved head without a hair on his head kind of rocks that. He rocks that, no pun intended. So I would make an exception for that. He did have hair back when he first started in wrestling. You know, it was a little receded, this and that, but he is the one exception, I will say, that once he buzzed it all off, there's an argument that he actually looks better. Very rare for me to say that.
Yeah.
There's so many other parts of their bodies that are so tremendously, you know, defined, you know, abs and all that stuff, that you're kind of like, wow, that's just like, that's not what normal people look like, you know? So they're kind of cartoon characters, you know?
Yeah.
I would say that this is an exact article, an example that what we talk about all the time, where if you're going to be in that category, whether you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, the more hair, the better chance you get of getting on that list.
The medication exists these days for you to be able to lock in your hair where it's at. So no one needs to go bald anymore. Rare exceptions where people have extreme, you know, reactions to medications and things like that. But 97% or so of all people who are male should never have to go bald, which is absolutely insane. We want to encourage you to lock in your hair so that you can be on this list. And then when you are, hit us up, we'll make a video on it. If you want to lock in your hair for life, go to locklab.co. It's a simple pill for a great head of hair. You know how passionate we are here about helping you guys get the best head of hair that you possibly can achieve and keep it for life. And that's exactly what we are doing with Locklab. Locklab.co.